You have been told that the universe is infinitely expanding. You have been told that space goes on forever in every direction, filled with trillions of galaxies, stars, and endless physical matter. But what if that is a mathematical lie? What if the universe is not infinite at all? What if you are living inside a localized, high-resolution rendering bubble? And right now, at the edge of the observable universe, there is a physical, digital wall. Welcome back to Vantage Elite. Today, we are opening a highly restricted file on the architecture of space-time. We are going to expose the deepest secrets of astrophysics, quantum mechanics, and the holographic principle. We are going to look at the boundaries of our reality and reveal the terrifying truth. The edge of space is not the beginning of a void. It is the static loading screen of the Matrix. But before we decode the cosmos and look at the edge of the simulation, I need you to do something critical. The algorithm that controls this platform is designed to suppress Matrix-breaking information. They want to keep humanity staring at small glowing screens so that we never look up and question the massive screen above our heads. To fight back against the shadow ban, I need you to hit the like button right now. It is the only way to force the truth into the system. And if you are ready to unlearn the lies of infinite space and join an awakened community of independent thinkers, hit the subscribe button. We don't just scratch the surface here, we expose the core. Now, let us look at the code of the universe. Act 1. The CPU limit of reality. To understand the boundaries of the Matrix, we first have to understand its processing power. In mainstream physics, Albert Einstein taught us that the speed of light, approximately 186,000 miles per second, is the absolute speed limit of the universe. Nothing physical can ever travel faster than light. If you try, your mass becomes infinite and time completely stops. But physicists have never been able to truly explain why this arbitrary speed limit exists in a supposedly random natural universe. If we look at reality through the lens of simulation theory, the answer is terrifyingly simple. The speed of light is not a physical speed limit, it is the maximum processing speed of the simulation's CPU. Think about a massive open-world video game. The computer processor can only load the graphics, calculate the physics, and render the environment at a certain speed. If a character in the game moves faster than the computer can process the data, the system glitches. The game crashes. The exact same rule applies to our universe. You cannot travel faster than the speed of light because the universal computer cannot calculate and render physical matter any faster than that. Time slows down the closer you get to the speed of light because the system is lagging. It is using all of its processing power just to render your immediate environment. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked up at the night sky, far away from city lights, and felt a strange sensation? Have you ever felt like the stars are not actually millions of light years away, but rather that the sky looks like a flat, highly realistic dome or a projected screen? Comment the word "yes" down below if you have ever felt this intuition. I read every single comment. Let's see how many of you sense the projection. You feel it because your consciousness knows that the physical universe only exists when it is being observed. Act 2. The observer effect and rendering. In computer programming, developers use a technique called frustum culling or occlusion culling to save memory. This means that a video game only renders the trees, buildings, and shadows that you are directly looking at. The environment directly behind you does not physically exist until you turn around to look at it. It remains in a state of unrendered mathematical probability to save processing power. For decades, quantum physicists have known that our universe does the exact same thing. In the famous Double-Slit Experiment, scientists discovered that subatomic particles, the building blocks of all physical matter, do not exist in a fixed physical state until a human being looks at them. When unobserved, they exist as a wave of probability. But the exact microsecond a scientist measures or observes them, the wave collapses and the particle snaps into physical, solid reality. This is not philosophy. This is proven, documented quantum mechanics. The universe does not render physical matter unless a conscious observer is looking at it. Which brings us to the ultimate question. If the universe only renders what we can see, what happens at the absolute edge of human vision? What happens at the edge of the observable universe? Act 3. The Cosmic Microwave Background. Mainstream science tells us that the observable universe is roughly 93 billion light-years across. We cannot see anything past that border. Astronomers claim this is because the light from beyond that point hasn't had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang. But when we point our most advanced telescopes and satellites at the absolute edge of space, we do not see empty darkness. We see a massive spherical wall of low-frequency static radiation. It surrounds the entire Earth in every direction. Scientists call it the Cosmic Microwave Background, or the CMB. They tell you the CMB is just the fading thermal echo of the Big Bang, but simulation theorists look at the data very differently. If you take the visual data of the cosmic microwave background and map it out, it looks exactly like the static noise on an old television set. It is a wall of raw, unformatted microwave data. In a simulated reality, the CMB is not an echo. It is the render wall. It is the absolute limit of the universal server. Everything inside the bubble is actively rendered three-dimensional space. Everything outside the bubble is unrendered base-level code. The CMB is the literal loading screen of the matrix, projecting inward. I want you to think critically about human exploration. If humanity somehow built a ship that could travel to the very edge of the observable universe, to the CMB wall, what do you think would happen? Would we fly into an empty void, or would we crash into a digital boundary? Drop your theories in the comments below. Let's map out the edge of reality. Act 4. The Holographic Principle. The idea that the edge of space is a two-dimensional digital boundary is supported by one of the most advanced theories in modern theoretical physics, the holographic principle. Pioneered by brilliant physicists studying the mathematics of black holes and string theory, the holographic principle states that all the information, all the physical matter, and all the three-dimensional space inside our universe is actually a holographic projection. And where is the projector? The math suggests that the entire 3D universe is being projected from a distant, two-dimensional boundary that surrounds us. Every action, every planet, and every human life is just the 3D rendering of 2D binary data encoded on the absolute edge of space. You are not living in the universe. You are experiencing a high-resolution, localized projection generated from the edge of the simulation. This explains why quantum entanglement exists. This explains why two particles can communicate with each other instantly, even if they are billions of light-years apart, completely bypassing the speed of light. In a 3D physical universe, instant communication is impossible. But if the entire universe is just a holographic projection from a single 2D source code, then distance is an illusion. Every point in space is actually occupying the exact same pixel on the render wall. Act 5. The Awakened Resistance. The architects of the Matrix and the shadow elites who understand this science know exactly how the simulation functions. They know that your consciousness is the processor. They know that human observation forces the universal code to render into reality. That is exactly why they have built a society designed to keep your vision as small and limited as possible. They trap you in concrete boxes. They force your eyes onto 6-inch smartphone screens. They flood your mind with artificial stress, political outrage, and celebrity distractions. If you are constantly focused on the lowest frequencies of survival and mindless entertainment, you will never expand your consciousness. You will never observe the boundaries of the cage. You will never realize that the physical walls around you are nothing more than a localized rendering generated by the cosmic loading screen at the edge of the universe. But the system has a fatal flaw. Once you realize that reality only renders when you observe it, you realize that you hold the power. You are not a tiny speck of dust in an endless cold universe. You are an infinite quantum consciousness, and the universe is reacting to you. Take your vision back. Disconnect from the artificial algorithm. Look up at the sky and recognize it for what it truly is, a masterful, interactive canvas of light and data. If you made it to the end of this restricted file, your consciousness is actively expanding the rendering boundaries of the simulation. You are officially part of the resistance. Prove it by hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you never miss a transmission. Like this video to force this frequency through the algorithm's censorship, and leave a comment below with the word "Beyond" so I know exactly who the real Vantage Elites are. The speed of light is a processing limit. The cosmic microwave background is a loading screen. The Matrix is rendering. Stay awake, stay sovereign, stay elite.